I guess we are live now.
All right, so let me just see, just give me a second. So yeah, so all right, so seems like we are live. So hello everyone, a very warm good evening. I hope you all are joining us through various platforms, I believe, YouTube as well as Spacetopia. So hello everyone, I welcome you all back. It has been quite a while. Well, we have been, coming up live on Spacetopia because there are several things that are going up. And talking about things, well, the main thing, the elephant in the room is that April is the Global Astronomy Month. So April is celebrated as a global, month wherein we consider various astronomy and space science activities. Basically, it's to increase and enhance awareness about astronomy and space science across students, across passionate enthusiasts, among all of us. So consider since we have, uh, the Global Astronomy Month is already going on April. Today, we officially begin with the events of Global Astronomy Month, in short called as GAM. So many of you who have been, probably who have signed up GAM page for various different kind of events, competitions that are going on. So thank you all so much for signing, the GAM events. So before we begin with today's session, let me just quick run through. So before Randeep, along with me, I have Garvit sir, and we welcome all of you to this fun and exciting session today on live Spacetopia as well as on YouTube, and that is Build It Up Climbing Robot. So before talking about climbing robot and all these things, let me just share my screen and let me just show you all, give you all a glimpse of our page of Global Astronomy Month. So, this Global Astronomy Month is actually very important, especially for all of us, since we all are passionate enthusiasts of astronomy and space science. So, considering that, we actually, we are now starting to conduct various sessions, workshops with this Build It Up Climbing Rope, starting up our Global Astronomy Month. Following this, we'll have a Kahoot tomorrow in which you can join us and join us in a very fun and exciting Kahoot quiz. So that we'll be having tomorrow right at this time, that is 6:30 p.m. in the evening, again through both Spacetopia and YouTube. Although it is free of cost to join, but it is recommended for, lower grades, that is grades 3 to 5 or maybe 2 to 4. So even if you are in higher grades, of course you can join, there is no limitation as such, but it's better if you let the students of grade 2 to 4 to play that quiz, because there is no bravery in winning a quiz which is made for juniors, isn't it, kids? So that is why I hope that you all enjoy the various different kind of sessions that are going to happen up on the occasion of Global Astronomy Month. Okay. Meanwhile, we are also very soon will be starting up with different kind of workshops that many of you must have signed up for. On 21st of April, we'll be having a very cool and exciting masterclass, which is Globe at Night masterclass. Okay. And along with that, we of course have, a couple of competitions, which is one of a kind that we have conducted. So that is going on. And of course, based on your grade, if you are from grade 2 to 5, you can participate in this astro painting competition. If you are from grades 3 to 6 to 9, you can participate in this poster making competition. The rules, the guidelines and everything detailed over here in this GAM page, the link of which has been shared to you on the YouTube and Spacetopia chat. So do make sure you check them out. When you add these to cart and when you sign up, you will be eventually taken to the Spacetopia page through which you can actually attend and conduct and be part of all these sessions. Along with that, of course, we have Stories of the Universe, which is our podcast YouTube channel where you can go and watch some exciting videos and get to learn and get to inspire from people who have done great things. For example, one of the latest developments is the Hubble Space Telescope teaser, which has come up. So do make sure you check that out. And of course, last but not the least, we also have an Ask an Astronomer. We already saw that there are so many people who have been asking so many questions with regard to the Hubble Space Telescope, the James Webb Space Telescope, and all these things. So the Timeline for submitting the question is actually for today itself. That means today is the last date for submitting the question. So if any of you have any further questions that you need to ask, or if you have anything in mind with regard to the Hubble Space Telescope, then do make sure that you ask your question by signing up for this Ask an Astronomer. Once again, this is completely free of cost. However, if you want to ask your question, you can ask your question by earning 5 Spacetopia credits. And of course, if you ask the question in your video, let's say, then of course we'll be featuring your name along with your video on Spacetopia and during the session, of course. So do make sure that you check out our GAM page and participate in as many events as possible, because you will get the chance to win cool rewards, exciting prizes, and get the chance to get featured on our Spacetopia page and YouTube pages as well. So this is our Spacetopia page where you can find out the details of all the sessions of our Global Astronomy Month, as you can see. And as you all can see, that Build It Up climbing robot is the one which is scheduled for today that we have already started. So let's now dive deeper into today's session, which is called Build It Up climbing robot. So what is this session all about? Well, do let me know in the chat if you all are aware of what exactly climbing robot means. What do I mean when I say climbing robot? Does it simply mean a robot which can simply climb? By looking at the videos and the emojis, probably you might be thinking that, but we'll check that out. But before we dive deeper into climbing robot, let me show you all something very exciting, something that many of you probably will be able to relate to. I hope that all of you are aware that who this particular character is. So let me just show you a quick glimpse of what this character is doing. So do let me know in the chat that what exactly do you think makes it possible for this character? First of all, do let me know which character is this, of course. So well, I'm sure that all of you, some of you have been answering also, and that is none other than, of course, and that is none other than Spider-Man, which I'm sure that many of you also admire due to various reasons. Okay, so Spider-Man is a character who is actually able to climb up, all these different kind of surfaces. It can climb up across any kind of places where probably any different kind of property might be present. For example, it might be rough surface or any kind of surface. So this particular character, even though it's a fictional character, it does have the tendency to actually climb and cling to any kind of surface. So can anybody of you just let me know that what exactly is it that makes it possible for this character to actually climb up, almost like magic? How is he able to climb the wall? How is he able to climb these tall towers? So do let me know if you are aware. So meanwhile, I can see that few of you are asking that how do you ask a question and ask an astronomer? So if watching the session right now, you can just see right below the session, you have an option of asking the question. Okay, so whenever we keep it live, whenever you go to the Ask an Astronomer page over there, right below the video, you will see upload button. So by clicking on that upload button, you can actually upload the your question. Of course, you can simply type in your question, but I recommend that you do submit your question by shooting a video, so that it becomes very exciting and we are able to feature your video as well. So you will be actually live on YouTube as well as Spacetopia when you are showing when we are asking the question. A few of you are saying that he can climb walls, maybe sticky hands, maybe due to suit, maybe due to using a thin thread. That is also a possibility, so we'll see about that. But there are actually two important concepts that we need to learn, that actually makes it possible for Spider-Man to climb the wall. And what are those two concepts, kids? These two concepts are gravity and friction. So two very important concepts. Of course, there are a multitude of various other things that are in play as well, but two most important central concepts that make this possible are gravity and friction. So let's just quickly have a look at what are these concepts. What is gravity? Well, some of you might have also studied in school or maybe other, encyclopedia or elsewhere. It's a force that attracts an object towards the earth or any such large body. So that means that it is some kind of force. So if you all are not aware what's a force, as you go to your higher classes, you will learn more about it. Because in today's session, I'm expecting that most of you might be from grades 3 to 5. Okay, because that's what we had recommended. But it's completely fine if you belong to any other grade. Okay, because learning about something new is, not limited to any grade or age, of course. But if you're not aware what's a force, it's okay, whatever you put is actually called a force. And it is a force that an object towards the earth or any such large body, be it any body. So that's what gravity is. What happens if you jump? If I try to visualize gravity, let me just visualize gravity for all of you, especially for those who are not very much aware of this term or not, able to imagine. So just imagine what happens if you jump. Let's say you have this cute boy who is trying to jump. So what happens when he's jumping? Basically, when he's jumping, what is happening is that he's eventually coming down. Even if you try to jump higher, you will eventually fall down, you will come down. Similarly, what happens if you kick a ball? Let's say I have this cute kid once again who's try to kick a ball now. So what happens if you try to kick a ball? Well, the ball eventually comes down as well, right? The ball also comes down. So that means that whether you try to jump, whether you try to, eventually it actually comes down, it falls towards the earth, towards that surface. It doesn't matter where you are standing on our planet Earth. Let's say you are at the equator or you are at the poles. That means you are at any end of the entire Earth's surface. The gravity or the force will always be towards the center of the Earth. That means it will be always be towards the Earth itself. Okay, so that's what exactly gravity is. It is a force that actually is, pulling everything that particular object, for example, in this case, the earth. And that's what gravity means. And that is the first important concept that you need to understand, so that later on I can show you that how it is possible for Spider-Man or any such kind of character to actually climb the wall. That is gravity. Now, the other concept, if you remember, was friction. So what is friction? Well, friction is a force that holds back the movement of a sliding object. I'm sure that some of you must have heard about friction in various different contexts. Sometimes we use it on a day-to-day life as well. But technically, it is also a force, just but it holds back the movement of a sliding object. Whenever an object wants to move, friction will actually hold back. Friction will not let it move easily. You'll have to put more effort to counteract that friction force. And that's because friction force always works against your force. It doesn't matter in which direction you are putting your force, in which direction you are pushing or pulling. Whenever you do a push or a pull, friction force will always act the direction which you are trying to push or pull. For example, let's say I have once again this kid who is trying to push a huge box. So when he's trying to push a box, what is happening is that he's putting the pushing force, let's say towards the left side, but then the force of friction is towards the right. And if the pushing force by this boy is more than the friction of, more than the force of friction, the box will move, the box will come in motion. But if the pushing force is less, the box won't move. Similarly, if you're pushing force direction, let's say he wanted to push the box in the reverse direction, in the towards the right, what would happen is that the friction force would be in the left direction. It would have actually acted in the opposite direction. So in whichever direction you are trying to push or pull, the friction will act in opposite direction. And if you are able to counteract that friction force, you will be able to move against that friction force. And that is the important concept that you all need to actually keep in mind. Now, you might think that, okay, that means that friction is actually a very, bad thing. Friction may always cause loss to us, but that is not true. There are certain examples where friction is helpful as well. Sometimes less friction is helpful, sometimes more friction is helpful. So let me show you an example where less friction is helpful. How about some of you just give me an answer in the chat? Can you give me where less friction is helpful, where we want friction? Let me show you this video. All guess and tell me that what exactly are people doing in this video. So meanwhile, I can see that that most of you are very active on the chat. I can see so many people who are actually talking about friction and gravity. That's right. Okay. So it acts in the opposite direction. That's correct. So what exactly are people doing in this video? So as some of you have been commenting, that's right. People are skating. Okay, specifically, this is ice skating. And this is an example where actually your smooth surface is required. Here, we don't need a rough surface. Here, smooth surface is required because smooth surface means less friction. And less friction means that you'll glide smoothly across the ice. Similarly, how about you tell me any example where more friction is helpful? Well, how about this? A tractor or any kind of vehicle which is trying to run or which is trying to move over a very rough patch of the road. I'm sure that all of you must have seen smooth roads where cars and all the vehicles are running. But whenever you go to the villages, towards the countryside, or towards any place where there is rough road, you will often see that the vehicles, especially tractors and the big ones such as cranes, JCBs, and all these stuff, they usually have very big flat tires, and their tires are also having very big markings, very big threading. So those are done to increase the friction, because rough surface will actually lead to more friction. And when you have more friction, the vehicle will actually not slide over that surface. It won't easily slip off that surface. Even if it moves very fast, it won't be slipping off that surface. And that is the reason that here more friction is required. So it doesn't mean that friction is always bad. It depends upon the circumstances. Sometimes we need more friction, sometimes we need less friction. And now that you all are clear with these two concepts, that is gravity and friction, let's move on to the activity which I am sure that most of you are waiting for, and that is building your own climbing robot. So we had already informed you, and we had given you the links as well for the various materials that are actually required for this activity. So first of all, you need the printout of the template, then you need the pony beads or any such kind of structure. You need certain color pens or color pencils, sketch pens, anything works, that's completely fine. A string or a thread, not necessarily of red color, any color works, and plastic or a paper straw. And for the printout, we had recommended you to get a 200 to 250 GSM printout, but it's completely fine if it's a normal printout. You can just paste it on a cardboard like structure to make it thick. The purpose is to have a thick print of this particular template that we had shared. So if you have not downloaded the template, or if you are not aware of what template I'm talking about, you can check out the live chat right now on YouTube and Spacetopia. In both places, we have actually provided you the link to download that template. Okay. So few of you are saying that you do not have pony beads. So well, kids, pony beads or any such kind of bead-like structure is actually necessary. You will see eventually as we move along the activity. But even if you don't have it right now, you just observe what is the particular step that we are doing. Later on, when you procure all the materials, you can perform the activity. And of course, this video will always be there on our platforms, that is both YouTube and Spacetopia. So you can come back and watch again on this same link. So it's not like after the live, the video will be gone. The video will be staying on our YouTube channel. So what is the first step, kids? The first step is to cut this robot drawing out of the template printout. So you can see there's a big robot drawing that we made on this sheet. So you have to carefully cut the entire outline of this robot so that you are able to cut this robot structure out of your entire template. Okay. So meanwhile, I can see that few of you are saying that I'm getting the material. It's completely fine if you are getting the material. You know, as I said, the video will already be there. As it happens in our live sessions, I'm just showing you the steps. Even if you're not able to perform parallelly along with me, you can just observe the steps carefully and let me know in the chat if you have any comments or doubts regarding those steps. Once you cut this robot drawing out of the template printout, what you need to do is the next step is flip your robot. That means turn it over the back on the back side and color and decorate that robot using the crayons or color pencils or whatever you have. Now, my art and craft is not that great. So, I'm just using a simple pen and just trying to decorate it in a minimalistic way. But of course, you all can, throw in your all of your creativity. You can use paint and all that stuff and decorate it very nicely. So as you can see, I have made a very ugly and a very bad drawing, I know. So please do not give me any comments on my drawing skills over here. So I've just, shown you all that what kind, the direction in which you need to actually color and decorate this robot printout. Okay. Do not color it on the side where it's written, paste the straws over there, not on that side, on the opposite side. Okay. That means on the completely non-printed side, because this side will become your front and you will end the activity. When you color it, you will observe that this side will become the front of your robot. To make sure that you're coloring and decorating on the correct side of your, uh, you know, robot template. And of course, you can use your creativity to do that. Once you do that, as of now, if you are doing, then I just suggest you can stop. Meanwhile, you can color it and decorate it later. As of now, you can proceed with the further steps and just try to complete the activity if possible. Then you need to cut two pieces of the straw, each of length of about 2 centimeters. This we had already mentioned also in the materials, but you can do it right now. About 2 to 2.5 centimeters, not more than that. Okay, just long enough so that your straw here line gets covered. And now you need to paste these two straws over the lines where it's mentioned paste straw here. Okay, so as you can see in the video, you can see that you can actually paste these two straws over those two lines on the back side. Now this portion of the robot actually becomes the back side for you. So it's written paste straw here. So you need to paste the straws properly using the sellotape. Again, if the distance is slightly less, it's completely fine. You don't need to be completely precise that I need to paste the straw exactly on the line. You can be moving a couple of centimeters right or left, but try to be as accurate as possible. Okay, so I'm just playing the video once again for you to watch it properly, that how you need to paste these two straws over the lines. Okay. So I can see few of you are saying somebody was okay, sir. Wait, okay, all right. I'm waiting. I'm replaying the video. Don't worry. Please do not spam the chat, kids, because some of you do give some useful answers and some of you do ask some doubts on the chat. So if you keep spamming the chat, then I won't be able to answer all of your questions. So it's a request to you not to spam the chat. If you have any queries, then of course you can put it up. Okay, twice or thrice, it's fine. Okay, Veena Sankar is saying it's actually good. Oh, thank you so much, Veena. Thank you. Uh, I'm flattered actually. Okay. Well, so once you have pasted these two pieces of the straw over those two lines where it's written paste straw here, then your robot template is more or less ready. Now the next step is to work with the string or the thread that you have. So you can take about 2 meter length of the string or thread. Okay, you don't need to measure it with a ruler or scale. 2 meter approximately means almost, double the length of your elbow. I'm sure that for you kids, your arm may not be as long as mine, so you can take twice the length of your own arm. Okay, till your shoulder, you can just measure it twice, and that's the length that you can take for your string or thread. And you need to insert the two ends of the thread into the two straws from the top end of your robot. That means from the top end, as you are seeing on the video. That's how you need to actually insert the two ends of the string. So just observe this step carefully, and after that you can actually perform, because this is a very important step and many of you may get confused that how you are supposed to tie up that robot. So this is a very important step. So I'm just replaying the video, okay, so you can watch that how I'm putting the thread in the two straws that I've pasted on the back side of my robot template. So meanwhile, let me just look at the chat, and few of you are saying, okay, Raul is saying, sir, please wait. Okay, I'm waiting. No worries, Raul. So, and meanwhile, I know that many of you have probably might have joined for the first time today on our Spacetopia Live. So if you're joining us for the first time for such kind of live session, I do request all of you to please sign up on Spacetopia if you're watching it on YouTube. Of course, if you're watching it on Spacetopia, you can explore our platform even further and explore the various different kind of sessions that we conduct. You can explore all the different kind of, we have, fun games, activities, DIY section, STEM challenges, art, science, astronomy, and many more things on our platform. So do make sure that you check them out and you explore those as well. Okay, you will get to know and learn a lot through very fun and very easy to do, DIY based activities. So it's a lot of fun to do. So as I showed you all, that you need to insert the two ends of the thread from the top end of your robot, just like this. Okay. Now, once you have done this portion, then what you need to do, this is the step where your pony beads come into play. Okay, so any color or any design of pony beads works. Okay, sometimes some of you might be having some kind of bracelet, okay, some kind of decorative bracelet which might have these pony beads, so you can use that bracelet if it's not too close to you. Okay, so if your best friend has given you that bracelet, then I do not recommend you to cut it off. But yeah, if you have something like that in your house, then you can use it, of course. Otherwise, you can easily get these pony beads in any kind of stationery or any kind of general store. Just replaying the video. Here you need to take those two pony beads. You need only two, by the way. You don't need hundreds of pony beads. You just need two. And you need to insert those two ends of the thread as shown over here in the video. So what I'm doing is that I'm taking that one end of the thread and inserting it into one pony bead. And I'm doing the same for the other end of the thread towards the lower side of my robot this time. Not on the top end, of course, towards the lower side. So that's how I'm actually inserting the thread into the pony beads. So if you're saying I'm still cutting, it's completely fine if you're still in the cutting step. As I said that, you can pause the video, you can replay any section if you want, because this is a YouTube, this is an online video, it will still stay on the same platform. Okay. Now, once you have inserted the two ends of into the pony beads, now it's time to tie off the pony bead. Okay. So you need to actually tie off these two so that the knot is formed, and you need to properly tie the knot so that your beads do not fall off. Okay, this is how it should look like. So your beads should not fall off. Just make sure that you have tied the beads, tied the knot properly. And once you have done that, now why did we leave the other end free, the other end curved? That's because you need to actually hang this entire robot assembly over a doorknob or such kind of structure. If you have a doorknob in your house, it's fine. If you do not have a doorknob, you can try to hang it over any such kind of structure, such as a tap, any kind of rod that is extending out of your house, anywhere. Such kind of structures are often there in any kind of house. Okay. So you need to hang it over that doorknob, and you need to gently pull the two ends, where you have the pony beads. You need to hold the two ends with both of your arms, and you need to pull them away at a particular angle. So you just need to angle. When you yourself pull it off, what will happen is that the robot will start climbing. So without the help of any kind of machine, without the help of any kind of motor or any such kind of energy generating machine, your robot can actually climb up just because of the two concepts that we learned in the beginning, that is gravity and friction. So I will show you how is that actually possible. How is your robot able to climb? So you need to hang it over a doorknob and pull both the beads together at an angle. The robot will climb as you pull the thread further. So as you further, the robot will automatically climb, so that's the magic. Here you have the climbing robot. So let me know if you are actually if you all found it enjoyable, and if you all got to learn something from this robot. Okay, I'm coming to that portion where I'm showing you that how this gravity and friction actually plays a very important role in the climbing of this robot. So somebody is asking, how will this robot jump? If you want to make this robot jump, you can just pull it very quickly. But in that case, your thread and the paper might tear off. So please handle it a little carefully, of course. Okay. Now, of course, there's a lot of concepts that are actually involved over here. There are certain concepts, for example, some of you have been commenting as well. You learned it in workforce and energy topic, that it is something like a pulley. It's something, there is another concept called tension that actually works over here. But of course, as of today, we are just introducing two important concepts, because some of you might not be aware of these two concepts as well. We introduce only two basic concepts, gravity and friction, and we try to explain to you how gravity and friction actually make this robot climb up. So how does this robot climb up? When this robot is climbing up, and here I'm showing from the back side. Here I'm showing which is actually showing you that how this robot is climbing up when I'm holding the two ends of this rope. So when I'm holding, what is happening is that naturally gravity is pulling it down. And that's what you were seeing in the video that I was showing you in the previous slide, that when I'm leaving off the thread, the robot is automatically falling down. And that's of course because of gravity. That's because of that force, which is constantly pulling every object towards the center of the earth, towards the earth's surface, basically, because you cannot just dig the center of the earth, but gravity is constantly pulling everything towards the earth. And that is the first force. But remember what we had learned, you need to put a force against gravity so that you are able to climb up. So when I'm pulling the two threads at this particular angle, two ends of the thread, what is happening is that there is friction between that thread and the straw that you have pasted that is actually getting generated. And this friction is actually acting against the gravity and making the robot climb up. Of course, as I told you, that there are a couple of other concepts also that are in while this robot is climbing up. But as of now, just for your level, especially for kids who are studying in grades 3 to 4, just remember that there's gravity and friction which are acting in opposite directions, where friction is overcoming. When you are holding the two threads at an angle, friction overcomes the gravity and your robot actually climbs upward. And when you are leaving the threads, Of course, there's no more friction, so gravity overcomes and your robot comes down. Your robot basically falls down. So friction can be considered as a necessary evil. So while it is evil in some cases, it is a necessary evil because we do require friction in many cases. For example, just like we saw that example where the tractor was running on a rough road. There we deliberately need more friction so that our tractor runs properly. Our vehicle does not run off from the road or run off from the surface where it is trying to run. At the same time, there are cases where friction is actually an evil. Friction is very harmful. For example, where you can rub off your hand. When you rub both of your hand, what happens? Just after a few seconds of rubbing, your hands actually become warm. Eventually, it might become hot if you keep rubbing for 15, 20 seconds. So what is happening? Basically, the friction is generating heat. So just imagine if friction is generating so much amount of heat in just 20 to 30 seconds, how much amount of heat gets generated when thousands of parts are rubbing against each other inside a vehicle, let's say, or inside a machine, inside an aeroplane, or inside any such kind of engineering marvel that we have in our entire world. So just imagine the level of heat that gets generated. And that is one of the biggest fears, that is one of the biggest challenges in engineering and technology, that is overcoming or tackling that heat that gets generated due to friction, among other problems that friction many times creates. Okay, we create cooling systems, we create, cooling chemicals, we create different kind of technologies that is able to actually counteract that heat that is being created by friction. And a lot of our fuel, a lot of our money and resources do get wasted just because of heat, just because of certain energy loss that gets created due to friction. But at the same time, friction is essential in many different kind of situations. Just like you learned in today's climbing robot, friction actually is essential in many space applications as well. Okay, so we are not going deeper into various different kind of applications and various different kind of why friction is actually essential. We'll have a dedicated session on that probably in future. Do let us know in the chat if you want a dedicated session where we'll discuss that what are the various different kind of applications where friction actually plays a very important role, where friction is a necessary evil. So I hope you all enjoyed today's session. You all enjoyed making your own climbing robot. So thank you all so much for joining. And do make sure that you check out our GAM page, our Spacetopia page, where you'll get all the details of all the further sessions that are coming up in the next couple of weeks on the occasion of GAM. Do make sure that you participate in the astro painting and the poster making competitions, because those are great chances to you know show your artistic talent, show your creativity, show anything that you have in your mind that you want to just put down in the form of painting or a poster. So do make sure you participate in that. And of course, you will have very exciting prizes, rewards, and certificates as well, which you will be getting if you win the competition. All participants will be given a certificate, of course, but winners will be rewarded as well with exciting prizes. So we'll let you know eventually what are those prizes as well. So do make sure you check out the GAM page for more details on those. Link was already shared in the live chat of YouTube as well as Spacetopia. It has been shared once again. You all can check out the link to go to our GAM page. Okay. And I hope that I see all of you in the subsequent sessions that we conduct. Grades 2 to 4 especially, do keep that in mind that tomorrow this time, that is 6:30 p.m., we will be having a live quiz with all of you where we'll see that who is able to ace the quiz. So do make some preparation for that. The quiz is on space satellites. So do make sure that you go through that. And it's on a very special occasion. And we'll let you know that occasion tomorrow itself. But if you're aware, you can let us know in the chat which special space anniversary it is tomorrow, for which we are conducting a Kahoot quiz. So with that, I thank you all so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next one. Till then, good night, everyone, and bye-bye.